with the country coming out of level 5 restrictions, it's a good news story, folks. It really is. And from this morning, churches can also reopen to the public. Indeed, already this morning, people in this region have been attending Mass in their local parishes. Let's go to Mullahoran in County Cavan. Local parish priest Father PJ Hughes, who of course was only with us on the show last week, he celebrated Mass in Lochduff at 9:30 a.m. this morning with local parishioners in attendance. And Father PJ is with me on the line. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning.
And thank you for taking the call, because I know it's been a hectic morning for you. I take it There's an air of excitement in all parishes this morning. I'm sure it's no different in Mullahoran, Lochduff. Did many attend your Mass this morning in Lochduff Church?
Not everybody, but maybe about 16 or 17, maybe. That's about the number now. A few haven't come back yet, but I suppose they will after a few days, you know.
Right. And what message did you have for them this morning, Father PJ? What were you saying to them, and what were they saying to you?
Well, I suppose, you know, they weren't saying much, but they were just happy to be back, that's all. And what am I saying to them? Well, you know, I just said to them a few words that, you know, Christmas is about celebrating the wonder of the incarnation and the birth of Christ, our Saviour, and we use these few weeks now to try and grasp a better understanding about this simple feast that we celebrate, but at the same time celebrating the most important person that was ever born, you know. And so we have to get into the spirit of that now somehow, and you know, that's the Advent season. That's what it's all about.
All right.
Deepening our faith and understanding our preparations well.
Okay, now we had you on the show about 10 days ago. People know the story. You had been visited by Gardaí and you had been warned not to allow parishioners into the church when you were celebrating Mass or while celebrating Mass. And you also received a call from your bishop. And I know, I'm reading in the Irish Times this morning, I see, Father PJ, and I didn't know this last night when I called you. I know you're still not happy, I see, with the government's COVID plan. And I note, based on the interview you gave to the Times, that you're not at all impressed with how the Taoiseach and how the government are dealing with this, and you weren't at all impressed with the Taoiseach's speech last Friday. Why?
Well, Joe, look, let's call a spade a spade. I mean, look around you. Sport is going on as if nothing was happening, and the shops are open all the time. More people go through the shop doors than at church. And I don't know what the government have against the church, but they're trying to micromanage the country, but a special emphasis on the church. They will not allow the church. And now they're telling us, well, 50 can go through the doors. I mean, they have to stop. Give us a break, you know. I mean, we're talking about Prince of Peace here. We're talking about Jesus Christ. You know, I was just saying there, remember, in the Mass this morning, I was just thinking, you know, offering up the host to these people who haven't received it for a few weeks. I said, behold the Lamb of God, behold him who takes away the sins of the world. You know, blessed are those who are called to receive him. I mean, the problem is that, you know, the church has a role, faith has a role, the Lord has a role in our lives. Why are these people intent on watching us and our every move and punishing us? You know, it's just time just to kind of leave us alone and just trust the church to do what they're asked to do. We know the regulations and we're living by the regulations, but to say 50 people into a church that can hold 500, come on, give us a break. What am I going to do with a family of 5, say, a father, mother, 3 children? Am I going to say, well, that's 5 people, so only 45 more can come in? You know, we have to, we're going to have every parish will have a meeting with their board of the pastoral council now, and they will decide. But I would just to say to the government, stick your nose out and mind your own business now. We're living by the regulations, so trust us the same way you trust the sport and that you trust the shops and everything else, and then all will be fine. But
Father, there are those listening this morning who will agree with you 100%, and then there are others who will say, hang on a second here now, in relation to sport, again, there's been a lot of controversy over the last week because football panels, hurling panels, which would in most cases in relation to elite sports consist of 25, 30 players. They were only allowed to bring in 25 players, I think, to most of the football matches. Those who had trained and worked all year, therefore, were not allowed into Croke Park last weekend. So they're coming down hard on all sectors, not only the Catholic Church.
Well, they closed the churches, Joe. They closed the churches. They are coming down the church. They're coming down the Christian church. For us, like I don't speak for the general church because I don't represent the bishops or priests or anybody else. I'm just speaking for myself, and I'm just expressing that our disappointment and sadness that they actually closed the churches. Don't forget that they did close the churches. And, I don't know if you ever did Loch Derg. Did you ever do Loch Derg, Joe?
No, but my mother does it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's three days. Well, there you are. Your mother does it. Look at, and she survived 3 days without food. You're really on black tea and bread. And then you go to Croagh Patrick, you climb there. I mean, how many people climb with their bare feet? These people don't get sick. The people who do Loch Derg, it's a sacrifice, I mean, we come to Jesus who made a sacrifice by coming into this world to offer himself to us. And we have a government who tell us that, oh, no, you must stay away. You cannot meet him. You can. Well, of course, they don't even mention the name Jesus. They daren't mention the name Jesus. I don't know why, but they need to mention the Lord's name in reverence and show the respect that is his due by saying that Christmas is a celebration of the birthday of Christ. By the way, Christmas, do you know what we're turning into? We're turning into a Bethlehem at the time Jesus was born. We're saying we'll have our parties, we'll have our games, we'll have a great time, and then we're sort of, Jesus, he won't fit in here. We really haven't time for him, so just push him one side. We're treating him the very same as the people treated Mary and Joseph in Bethlehem at the time of his birth. Now, that's
But I put it to you, Father PJ, given that the limit is now 50, we've been discussing this for most of the morning. Kathleen, a listener, wrote to me yesterday with very strong words for the so-called a la carte Catholic. Now, you would have been celebrating Mass in Lockduff when I was reading her letter. And she made the point that, at Christmas time, we have the Catholic who turns up out of nowhere, dressed to the nines on Christmas morning. The entire family stroll up the aisle of the church, and they haven't been seen for 12 months. And that's fine because the church, the Christian community, is a welcoming community. But this year, she's calling on the a la carte Catholic to stay away. And she believes that if that happens, there will be no problem when it comes to space and numbers at Christmas time. What would you say to that?
Well, I think that as time has gone on, we're living in a much different time now, a secular society. And I would say myself that when I was there doing 25 years ago, 95% of the people in the parish went to Mass. 10 years ago, I would say 75% of the people went to Mass at Christmas. I say now that 60% will go to Mass at Christmas, and that is the way it is. 40% don't go to Mass on Christmas Day anymore. That's the reality. But
those who do, but Kathleen's point is, Father PJ, those who do just turn up on the day. You won't see them again for another 12 months.
Well, we can't really say to people go away because they're celebrating. We don't know the circumstances why they couldn't come. And the other thing is that, you have to leave room for God's grace to work in their lives. Maybe something will happen, or maybe something has happened to bring them there on Christmas Day. And maybe something will happen there on Christmas Day. I could tell you 1,000 stories about people who dropped into the church and sat down for 10 or 15 minutes and their lives were transformed as a result.
Kathleen feels that it's more like a fashion show and the church aisle is the catwalk and Daddy has a new sweater, Mammy has a new overcoat, and it's Christmas morning is the morning when they can show it off.
Well, look, I tell you, I suppose we can be all like Kathleen a bit, look around and see what this one's wearing and what that one's. But there's a story, Joe, and I'll tell you just a minute. There's a lady was always complaining to the priest about the people in the church that were talking, they were doing this, and they're only there for show. And the priest said to her, you know what, Kathleen, next Sunday you come, and during Mass, I want you to carry a glass of water full round about the church and don't spill a drop. And afterwards, he asked her, well, Kathleen, how'd you get on? You did very well. You didn't spill a drop. And he said to her, did you notice what was going on in the church? And she said, no. And he said, why? Because I was too much concentrating on not spilling any water. Like, I mean, if I'm there in the church and I'm concentrating on praying and I'm concentrating on my relationship with Christ, well, then leave the others to their relationship with Christ and let God deal with them in the way that's appropriate, you know. But I cannot say that we cannot turn anybody away, or if you go there with the spirit of Christian love in your heart, you should be there and just concentrate on why you're there. Do you understand?
Absolutely, Father PJ. You actually explained it very well. Is it true? Again, I was working offline. I've just been handed a hard copy of the Irish Times. How accurate is this headline? The Irish Times this morning, the headline is, this is on page 2, Cavan priest says he will not be dictated to by pagan government. I mean, do you really believe that the Irish government is a pagan government?
It's bordering on a pagan government. Yes, it is bordering on a pagan. Anybody that relegates Christ to it's not a necessary exercise, or insults the faith of the people, is bordering on pagan.
And what about the Taoiseach? Is the Taoiseach a pagan in your view?
Well, certainly his attitude hasn't inspired me to believe that he's anything else, because his attitude towards the Christian church is very, very poor in the last 3 weeks. He has closed the church and ordered people not to go, and he has sent the guards out to arrest me. Now, that is, for me now, that is something wrong there, you know? I mean, we can talk about the past if you like, but, I mean, what on earth is wrong going into the church? People, as I've been told this before, there is no risk, as far as I'm concerned, very low risk in the church. And if people don't want to go there, they can choose to stay at home. But why stop? And the top, it came from the top, by the way, it came from the Taoiseach and the government, they stopped people from going to church, being present at the Mass. So now, that's my stance on it. I've no right to judge people, but, you know, sometimes it's upsetting to see how Christ is treated. And somebody has to stand up for him. That's what I feel. And
where are you now on the bishops? When I spoke to you 10 days ago, you were of the view that they should do more. They could do more.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I still believe that. I still believe that our bishops, who are the apostles of today, I still do believe they can do more. And I believe that they have to be brave and stand up and just challenge these people to understand that, you know, you cannot mix faith with science. And faith is there. We have proof in the Gospels and through the miracles, and, you know, through the life of the church, we have proof that Jesus truly was born and that he is the Saviour of the world. So that's what they have to stand up, really, and they have to, you know, bang the table in front of the Taoiseach and say, hold on a second, you cannot do what you're doing to us. You cannot treat us like this. You cannot treat Christ's church like this. I'm sorry, you cannot. That's it.
And just before I let you go, Father PJ, I know you have a pastoral council there and you are part of that entity. What will you be advising in relation to the Christmas celebrations in the parish of Mullaghhorne and surrounding areas?
Well, I don't know.
Numbers-wise.
We got our instructions, and we probably will need to have more celebrations of the Holy Eucharist to accommodate people, and we'll discuss that. So we'll see what the options are and what the people think themselves or what is suitable. So we'll have to discuss that. I mean, I'm going to work with them obviously and see what they think, but it looks like we will need to have a few extra masses on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve. Yeah.
Right. Have you heard from your bishop since you spoke to me 10 days ago?
No, I'm not sure. I think I have, actually. I think I have. Do you know something? So much has happened, I tell you. I can't even remember which day I spoke to you, but I think I have, actually. Yes, I was speaking to him, actually. I think I was, yeah.
Right. And is the relationship...
Yes, the Friday after I was talking to you, I was speaking to him, yeah.
Right.
That's right.
And is the relationship still a good one?
Well, I mean, he's my bishop, so, I respect him, and I have to, you know, I live here in this parish, in this diocese, and he's my bishop, so I respect him for that.
All right. And I respect you for taking the call this morning, because, again, when we were corresponding last night, I wasn't aware of that piece in the Irish Times this morning, so I sense a lot of people will be anxious to talk to you again this morning. But for now, Father PJ Hughes in Mullahoran, thank you for taking the call, and Best wishes to you over the festive season, Father PJ.
And the same to you and all your listeners, Joe. Thank you very much. A very happy Christmas. Thank you. God bless.
Same.